Camps Road Farm is located just outside of New Preston in Kent. We're close to Lake Warramog. We almost share a border with the Lake Warramog Country Club. It's a beautiful area of the state to be located in. We have a lot of lovely neighbors. There's good farmland, a lot of hay land around here, and in general, it's a happy place to live. Camps Road Farm was started about 3 years ago as part of the food cycle. The food cycle is our kind of overarching brand, and then underneath that we have the farm, we have an on-farm brewery, and an off-farm distillery. And all three of those businesses are very closely connected to the farm specifically, where the farm is growing ingredients that we use in the brewing or distilling process, and then the spent grains and mash from that process come back and we either use them as animal feed or as compost that goes back into the garden. It started as an idea amongst a couple guys and has grown throughout the years to be a really good source of community and a place where people can come and become very connected to their food. So Camps Road Farm is a very diverse farm. We have a lot of stuff going on, but all for one very good reason. So we have chickens for eggs and for meat. We have pigs, which will be for meat. They're the most efficient animal at converting brewer's grain into bacon. We have high trellis hops for our brewery. We have 1.5 acres of dwarf apple trees for our distillery. We have greenhouses with tomatoes and peppers for kids in our farm store. We have gardens that have perennial herbs, and a bunch of vegetables that service our farm store and a couple of restaurants locally. All of these things tied together to create kind of a whole diet farm, that it's a one-stop shop that you can come to the farm, get your meat, your eggs, and your veg all in one area, and eventually will be open to the public and you'll be able to get your beer here as well. From the beginning, we wanted to have those three interlocking businesses of the brewery, the farm, and the distillery, and wanted to have a farm brewery specifically because brewing beer is very much an extension of agriculture, to the point where it is agriculture in my mind itself, where all of our ingredients, we have a beer that's 100% Connecticut grown grain. We have hops from the farm. We've inoculated yeast strands from the farm itself, and we use those wild yeast strands that are super local to our little microclimate here and brew beer with them, which adds a lot of characteristics. So tying it in where we have this process where you're adding value, and it can be done in a warehouse, it can be done in some industrial park, very disconnected from the land, but because you're using all agricultural ingredients and the history of brewing beer is so closely tied to agriculture, we wanted to bring that back in a farmhouse brewery. Part of the initial ethos of the farm and the food cycle in general is not just sustainable agriculture, but sustainable energy. So we have a very large solar array that powers most of the farm. We directly tie into some of the buildings, and the rest of the energy is sold back to the grid, so that even if we're not directly powering it, the energy is going back into the grid and we're using it. It's just we sell it back and then buy it back again. It's just how these things work out. We also have a solar thermal array, which I've never heard of before, but it's really cool that we use the sunlight to heat the water that we use to brew our beer. So the beer brewing process is helped by the sun as much as our energy and our plants rely on the sun, because that sun heats the water, goes in, heats the beer, cooks the beer, and then beer is made, and it's amazing. My goals for the future and the farm's goals as a whole is to really continue to develop that community that has started around the farm. There's a lot of stuff that we do on barter. There's a lot of just relationships. The CSA members that have been with me since the beginning have been there since my wife was pregnant with my daughter to when she turned 2. At the filming of this, it's 1 day away. It's really incredible just how connected everybody is and involved. And what I wanted and what my wife Kate wants is to bring agriculture in a very approachable way, educate people, showcase what we're doing, good, bad, whatever struggle or happiness that we have, so that the general public and other farmers are more connected to how their food is grown and what it takes to be a farmer, so that there's a better understanding when it comes time to that farmer's market table. The farm crawl started as an idea when I was standing at the farmer's market and there were people coming in and out of my booth asking questions about the farm and really interested on what I was doing and what the other farmers at the market were doing. So we started the farm crawl as a way to have a group open house where our doors are open. Some of us are certified organic, some of us are not, but we're all customer certified. The doors are open, we have nothing to hide, and to the other point, we have a lot of stuff that we want to showcase, we want to share. We put a lot of effort into the place that we live, the food that we grow, and the food that we grow at the place that we live, and wanted to share that in a way that would get families, kids, and all the people who are involved in the market more involved with all the individual farms.